Do Good Mavericko here. Welcome to the Do Good Mavericko podcast, episode number 47. Having a multitude of counselors slash advisors. I thought I'd jump on and talk a bit about that. Some biblical success principles slash biblical business principles. In Proverbs 15:22, in the New King James Version, without counsel, plans go awry, but in the multitude of counselors, they are established. Proverbs 15:22, New International Version. Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they succeed. And then Proverbs 15:22 in the New Living Translation. Plans go wrong for lack of advice. Many advisors bring success. And then we have Proverbs 11:14 in the New King James Version. Where there is no counsel, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Then we have Proverbs 24:6, New King James Version. For by wise counsel you will wage your own war, and in a multitude of counselors there is safety. Let me read that one over again. Proverbs 24:6, the New King James Version. For by wise counsel you will wage your own war, and in a multitude of counselors there is safety. So yeah, a multitude of counselors or a multitude of advisors. Interesting. A multitude, so having many of them. Getting I think I made that podcast episode about getting a second opinion, which in many cases can be extremely valuable. But having a multitude of counselors or a multitude of advisors, what a concept. It reminds me of the PayPal mafia. When back a bunch of years ago, when Elon Musk was a part of PayPal, they had this kind of mastermind team behind PayPal, and they called it the PayPal Mafia or the PayPal Mafia. Basically a bunch of brilliant people that were helping with advice and stuff for building PayPal. But yeah, interesting. So how can you apply this in your own life, in your own business, in your own plans? That's I guess that's something to think about, because oftentimes it seems to be especially the case these days that yeah, sometimes we take advice from the wrong people. And especially when people are not honest and they pretend to be something they are actually not. And if we take the wrong advice, we might end up spending a lot of time and or money and other resources on doing the wrong thing. So yeah. And if we kind of look at this from the bigger picture and not just our own selfish needs, when it comes to having a multitude of counselors, a multitude of advisors, just think about all the other people out there in the world that needs this, like business owners, yeah, people in a lot of different niches, categories, industries, so on and so forth. Is there a way we can, in a solid way, provide this to people? Then we have paid communities. In a lot of cases, I think I think that a paid community can be a brilliant solution for this, because you can there are so many ways you can do it. One way you can do it is that you can put some parameters or some requirements that people need to meet in order to join the paid community that you have set up. They need to at least have achieved something, or they need to at least have an education, or so much experience, so much results. There's a lot of ways you can do that part, so that you're kind of screening or carefully selecting what people are allowed to join, so that you make the quality of the community really high. That's one way you can do it. Or you can just do it by interest, category, subject. There's so many ways you can do it. And then you can also improve, when it comes to the members, how can they get a multitude of counselors or a multitude of advisors by being a member? And it also comes a lot down to how you run the community, how you facilitate it, and how the content inside the community is. Are you having weekly live meetings? Or do you have video calls? Do you have video calls where it's not just one big video call with dozens of people, but you can also break it out? For example, if you're using Zoom, I think it's called Zoom breakout rooms, where you can start as a big Zoom video meeting, and you can kind of break it out into a bunch of different smaller Zoom video rooms, where it's like 4 to 7 people inside each, and they can connect and stuff. That's one way you can do it. You can also do hot seats. If people have some challenges in their business or about something regarding the subject that your paid community is about, you can have hot seats where that person is kind of sitting in the hot seat. He's explaining his problem. Maybe you're also asking him questions about his problem, or someone is asking questions about his problem. Then a bunch of other members can chime in and give advice. Yeah, I had the exact same problem in my business. This is how I solved it. You can give advice. Another person, no, he has never had that problem, but actually, about 3 weeks ago, he saw a YouTube video about a solid expert giving advice, and this was what he said. Maybe this can help you, and things like that. So in one hot seat session, one member of your paid community might get feedback from 5, 10, 20 people. That's one way. Maybe you can also make it some way where you have a post. Of course, people can post themselves as well inside your paid community. But if someone, for example, maybe you can have a process where if someone did not get enough feedback in order to get a solution, in order to find a solution during their hot seat session, maybe you could also send out an email campaign about a post about the same problem and ask them for feedback. Or yeah, there's a lot of ways you could do it. And having a multitude of counselors / advisors, this applies to so many things. When it comes to a lot of problems in the world, what ends up often being the solution? People. If you ask the right people about something, it's mind-boggling, the kind of breakthroughs, major breakthroughs you can have. I heard, I think there was a multi-billionaire that was asked what was something like, what was his key to success, or what was the main reason for his success, something like that. And he gave a really short answer. I hired great people. Hired great people, or hired good people. That's oftentimes what it's about. And if people are not able to hire them, just imagine being able to ask them, you know. It reminds me of the archaeological discovery that was made in China. They found out that about 900 to 1,000 years ago, they invented chrome in China. But in some strange way, I think they maybe forgot about it because maybe there was some war or whatever happened. But yeah. But then the thing is, when did America invent chrome? Around the year 1950. So here was something that existed almost 1,000 years ago. And instead of just the Chinese teaching the Americans, here's how you make chrome, it was kind of forgotten. And then about 1,000 years later, after it was already invented, it was invented all over again. And then when it was invented, it was used like crazy, and it has been up until this day. Yeah, but then people can say, yeah, but that was like 1,000 years ago. That stuff like that wouldn't happen today. We have the internet. Believe me, it happens these days as well. Maybe not for 1,000 years, but right now there are people, countless places all around the world that are dying from things that there exists. Cheap, simple, reliable cures and treatments for, yet people are dying. Why? Why? That's the way the world is. Because even though the internet exists, and you have a lot of people these days saying Google it, yeah, just Google it. There's a lot of amazing things you can find by just Googling it, but you won't find anything that exists on the internet just by Googling. Google, it's a search engine. It's not a super lexicon that will give you absolutely everything that exists on the internet. Google will find it and show it to you if you search for it. Absolutely not. It won't, because it's a search engine optimized content and pages are being shown. And yeah, it's just so faulty on so many levels. So yeah, the internet and artificial intelligence is in many ways amazing things, but they are not complete. I read in the autobiography of Richard Branson. I think it was in the first one, Losing My Virginity by Richard Branson, because he has a part 2 on his autobiography as well. But yeah, in the biography, he explained that I think it was his wife that had a problem with her knee, and he talked to doctors and stuff. Maybe I'm remembering this wrong. I think they were talking about, was it maybe having to amputate it, or some kind of crazy or very big surgery. It was very serious, at least. And the thing he did, he was thinking like, hey, who knows much about knees? Knees, who knows much about? Hey, football. The football people, they probably have a lot of injuries in knees and stuff. So, and there's a lot of money involved and stuff, so they probably have really skilled people when it comes to knees. That was kind of his reasoning. And he called up the, I think it was the, in the UK, the leading football team in the UK, something like that. And he called them up. I think he talked to their trainer, and he asked him, he told him about his wife and stuff, her knee problems. Yeah, we have a physiotherapist, something like that. And he sent his wife to get treated by that person. I think it was something like 2 or 3 treatments, and her knee was completely fine. It got fixed. He asked the right person. But when you're a billionaire and you pick up the phone, people tend to answer it. And if they answer it, they tend to take you seriously, especially when you are a billionaire and a celebrity like Richard Branson. But yeah. And when he did that, I think she had already been to a bunch of different doctors before Richard Branson took it to the next level with those football people. But yeah, that's just one example. A multitude of advisors. Imagine having access to, yeah, a multitude of advisors. And imagine all the people in the world that would also like to have access to a multitude of advisors, especially on the specific things they are either working on in their business, the industry they are in, or on things they are passionate about or very interested in, stuff like that. And maybe you can be the guy that starts a paid community that those people can get access to. Maybe it's mechanics for agricultural equipment, owners of small mechanics companies for agricultural equipment. Maybe that's what you could start a paid community for, or maybe for real estate investors, or a specific type of doctors, nurses, entrepreneurs. And when you think about or when you brainstorm where you're going to start your paid community and what kind of people would have a strong need or a strong desire for having a multitude of counselors or a multitude of advisors. Maybe you can think of things like what niches or industries or businesses or careers, professions, is there a lot of money involved? Who are doing a lot of deals, cross promotions, who would like to learn from each other, collaborations, strategic alliances, things like that. And you might find some really valuable ones, you know. So yeah, I think that's a pretty big opportunity. And these days, when paid communities are really trending and gaining popularity, yeah, pretty mind-boggling. I'm actually in the process of interviewing at least 30 real-life success stories of people that are running paid communities that is making at least $10,000 in profit per month. It's for terrific30.com, the online education and community platform that I'm building. But yeah, so far I've just interviewed a few of them at the time of this recording in December 1st, 2024. But yeah, even so early on, and I just interviewed a few of them, it's mind-boggling how how quickly and relatively how easily several of these people have built their paid communities. And also, the kind of lifestyle they are able to live at the same time. So yeah, if you'd like to see those interviews and learn from those real life success stories of very, very recent success stories of people that have built paid communities, you know, what's working these days, you should check out communitycashcows.com. And if you join the community, you can also get access to a bunch of other people that are also building paid communities these days. So maybe you could get access to your own set of a multitude of advisors when it comes to building a paid community, you know. Anyway, if you're interested, check out communitycashcows.com. All right. You take care. God bless.